getting into our last topic of the night, the Otaku Insights, I figured given it is the 25th anniversary of Digimon, kind of like what we did with God of War, the 20th anniversary. Joy, you kind of told us already, like kind of what your first experience was with Digimon, but what was your guys' first experience with Digimon? How did you feel like it set itself apart compared to Pokemon? Where was your fall off? Is there anything that the series could do as a franchise that could bring you back again? Like what's your kind of retrospect on Digimon?
I'll go first. To be honest, bro, I started Digimon from the beginning. From that first Kuwagumon episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the beginning for me. And I kept going with Digimon all the way up to the fourth generation of Digidestin. That was the one that I was like, you know what? Yeah.
It's time.
I mean, no, it was some interesting themes. Bro. Like, that's what I really liked about Digimon was the lore research of the monsters, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're able to fuse lore with like mythology with techno terms like vaccine, data, virus.
Mm-hmm.
Even the levels of where you go to, like, you know, baby, in training, rookie, champion, ultimate, mega. Then you had fusions, then you had armor evolutions, then you had warp this, you had this and that. There were just so many factors, man. And even like the movies took it even further. Like I said, the first two, they felt like a good double album. The third one, the third set of kids, they were interesting because like the whole trading card game aspect, like I saw what they were doing. I saw what they were doing because that was around the time, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh was very peak, Pokemon trading card game was very peak, but then it's like when it came to Digimon, you never really thought of like, oh, cards. But then you know what? That was a creative way to do it. And it
makes sense because they're data technically at the end of the day. And what do we do to data? We edit it. We upgrade it. We delete certain things we don't need. Like it fit so into the lore like in a natural way.
Digivice was like a scanner.
Yes,
like,
yeah.
I was like,
you're uploading pretty much.
Oh, no. You think this Terriermon is a regular Terriermon? Nah. Nah. So like it was very interesting because at first you thought maybe is this like a continuation of the first two where everybody just has one? Like no. You saw like, well, no, then why isn't this? So like, oh, it is a separate storyline. But it was great, man. It was great. They definitely upped up a lot of certain characters from certain lower points. You know, sometimes, you know, especially growing up in a Christian family, you had to turn the volume
down on the religious themes. Yeah, heavily. Oh, y'all like Angemon and Devimon? Well. Here's
boy
Abysmon, Bephometmon, Antichristmon.
Bro, while you eating your cereal, you had to turn the volume down a little bit.
Bro, I know you're right because the Better My Otismon episode was like, and it's like, and 666, and the beast will return. I say,
my Otismon season was crazy.
Your Caribbean Christian parent walking through the room like, what did they just say?
Yeah, I thought it was about cute pets. What did they say about the beast?
And then, of course, season 4 took it even further.
I kind of checked out at that point, so I only know the names.
Season 4 took it to the next level, dog.
I was like, Lucy, who?
And then Angel at that, right?
I mean, season 2 gave you Armageddon. Like what are we talking about? Like we were already there.
Armageddon. You can think of Armageddon, the definition.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like Lucy,
I mean, the first boss was Devimon, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and he was terrifying.
You could call
the long limbs, the long fingers. No, you kind of could have got away with it, but when you think about it, you was like, yo, he was not like a friendly looking enemy at all.
No.
But then here comes this character called Impmon, and they just go ham.
Yeah.
Beelzebub. Whoa.
Yeah, Beelzebub. Woo!
Yo.
So I mean, but overall, man, it was great. It was great, and one thing I appreciate about Digimon is they were very sure of themselves. They didn't try too hard. They stuck to the plan. They stuck to the plan. They stuck to the plan of who they were. Like, yes, the world may try to throw them in a competition with XYZ, but at the end of the day, they're still here.
Yeah.
Because they stood on a solid foundation.
They did enough to stand out where it's like the people who got it get it. Like they're like, I understand what makes this not even Pokemon and Digimon are the same in naming convention only. Like the themes and the things that are covered and the levels to which they're covered are on entirely different wavelengths.
Very different.
Yeah. But Ashton, what about you? What got you like into Digimon in terms of like what was it about the themes or even the forms or whatever?
Where did Digimon air? Was it on Fox Kids?
Fox Kids, yeah.
Yeah, it was just okay. There was a whole man. We had like 3 Monster Ranchers didn't make it, but
no,
Monster Ranchers was there. And so we had like 3 alternatives. Like, hey, the more the merrier. Oh, this is not quite like Pokemon, but like they evolve, but they can go back to their regular forms. I think I like this more. And so I guess it was something that was more like, a T-Rex. I love dinosaurs at the time. T-Rex were my favorite.
Can't lose.
You can't lose, man. And he's yellow, and then like that's like the best designed T-Rex color scheme. And it's like a adorable / intimidating at the same time. And I loved it, man. And I just thought it was cool. And then he turns into a giant T-Rex with a male whack crown. You know what I'm saying? Male whack. You feel me? Just male whack and Cubone just and giant just and then there's metal forms, and then you look at Garurumon, he got a wolf with jeans.
Yeah.
And it just keeps the form a cactus with punch boxing gloves. I'm like, yo, this is hard. I'm like, dog, this is gangster. I'm losing my mind. Then you have then it just keeps going. A fiery phoenix bird, pterodactyl. And I'm just like, yo, I want more of this. I didn't know I needed this. And then the villains were colorful, and they were interesting.
All
not
memorable.
That first season.
All of them.
Not that first season. That first season, I was like, look, the devil gotta go. He was terrorizing them.
To this day, I still say the Dark Masters, like from design wise.
Oh man, and yeah, so that was my first.
All of them.
Yeah, those were my first seasons. Or what's that? Digimon with the mouth that's always open. Got the teeth.
Open.
And I guess
Wildmon.
Yeah, he was kind of like
Ogremon.
Ogremon. You talking about the one that the green one? Yeah.
And it was interesting, man. It was super funny at times, and I love the color palette, man. I loved how they color. I love the watercolor approach, man. It was just the perfect Saturday. And be like, hey, what's this cartoon? And then now you get sucked into the world. I think that was, and I remember being able to follow the entire season until like, yo, Anjumon transforming, going back to school, talking about it. Like, yo, no, I like Anjumon. Because Panama was just like, yo, this Digimon is
the rabbit with ears.
Pathetic. Yo,
a bubble of air,
like,
man.
I'm like, man, you Karibo.
Yeah.
Yo, get up out of here, man. Karibo, pointless Digimon, dog. And he kept going. And then until he wasn't pointless anymore, and I was like, Fist of Faith? Oh. Y'all hit me with these names, man. I'm getting. Then I see Leomon, Fist of the Beast King. I said that's the greatest name of an attack. Fight me. I'm sorry. Fight me on the hill. You can't beat that.
Bloody Roar, how did you miss this? It was right there.
Fist of the Beast King, and every time I'm in my room just punching the air. Fist of the Beast King. After and after that, yeah, it was the perfect. We all experienced it, man. Like we were all there to like. Now look at how we're talking about it now. I'm like, man, like I mean, do you remember Seadramon? And then what? When they went back, what happened to Seadramon?
Became Metal. It's like, oh, y'all are back.
He became Metal Seadramon.
Right? I ain't the same Digimon no more.
Mm-hmm.
And we look, and he doing that. What's that attack he had?
The River of Power.
Out his nose.
Yeah, River of Power.
And I'm just like, come on, man.
Scramble.
There was banking. There was clearing it. What he did to that beluga whale, that whale was gone. Disintegrated.
Gone.
They was mourning. I was sad.
And then how like Machine Dramon kind of gave you like Terminator vibes.
Oh, definitely. 1000%.
He had that. I was just waiting for his chest to open up, and I was like, yeah.
Giga
Cannon. Yeah.
And wreaking havoc. And yeah, it was just Digimon was amazing, man. Like it just hit all the cues of the 90s. You had the goggles. Everybody wanted to be like a inline skater / BMX because it was on the come up, and it was just a new thing. And so like it was perfect, man. That's what I remember Digimon the most, man, with my cereal. I know what cereal I was eating. That's how crazy it was.
Yeah. For me, I think I know for me, like looking back on my childhood, I'm like, man, what kind of drew me to this? What kind of drew me to that? There's always like very distinct style choices that catch my eye, even as a kid. So I remember, of course, you're hearing about Digimon, right? Oh, it's a Pokemon clone. It's like Dory said, it's kind of like Monster Rancher. It's another monster themed show, right? So, you know, Saturday, like the weekends, I could watch as much TV as I want to. So, of course, I'm going to watch everything just because. So I think it just so happened that it was like showing this first or second episode. So even the opening credits of seeing these kids like spinning and like free falling into like this like literal digital landscape, I'm like,
the song got you.
Yeah, I'm like, what is this?
1000.
What is this?
1000 kid.
And then does the orc change into? I'm like, okay, you've got my attention. You know?
That's true. That's 100, man.
Yeah, and then like you said, it's just like the unapologetic decisions. You know, where it's like, even though we know like from our adult brains that like Ash Ketchum and all of them, they're all from like an Asian origin. Digimon told you, no, these are 7 Japanese children who came from Japan and happened to be at the same summer camp. His name is Tai Kamiya. Like, I cannot make it any clearer that honestly, he's a Japanese kid.
You know, to be honest, I forgot about that until I saw the anniversary trailer. I was like, the way they were saying they were saying like their full names.
Yes.
I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, Yamato Matt Ishida. Yeah, I'm like, these are Japanese children. You know, so I think for me it was, you know, of course, when you're a kid, like you have like this almost subconscious desire to be able to understand adult things of like, I'm cool now because I can take this concept and not cry because it's not too overwhelming for my child mind, right? So like you're watching Digimon and like Dory was saying, it's like these Digimon are getting killed. Like they not fainting, they're not going to Nurse Joy. No, he's dead. Like he's gone.
A certain type of dead, because remember, some of them could be brought back through their data being refreshed.
True. You're absolutely right. But I think even that concept of like, that was something that was like, look at Team Rocket. Team Rocket should have died about 45 times over by the time, but the amount of attacks that they've been hit, and they just blast off again as if they're not human beings. Yeah. Where
like Digimon, skydiving distance.
Like Jory said, it's like
Jesse and James don't exist in that manga, so.
Oh well, there you go. But so like for me, like Digimon is like it wasn't afraid. Of course, it did it in a more child friendly way, but it wasn't afraid to introduce kids to the realities of the world in a way that made sense. Of like, hey, you know, just like you're gonna lose your first goldfish, you know, or whatever the case may be. Sometimes these things that were with you for a certain point in your life, they're not with you anymore.
You know, it's a perfect example. Remember when Beelzemon killed the girl's Leomon?
Yeah.
And he wanted her forgiveness.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, that's very tough.
Because he absorbed his data, so he can't be reborn. It's
It's like you didn't even expect yourself to become like part of this team, but you do realize you committed murder, right?
Yeah, a lot of it.
So
that was the thing for me. I'm like, it wasn't afraid to get serious, you know. Like George said, it was funny. There was a lot. Edamon, Hilarious. Even though I know I was supposed to be taking it seriously in my mind, the Elvis impersonation voice. hey, Edamon's in the house. Oh, like it's just like
or even like Datamon is like, bro, y'all can tell this dude is evil, right?
Right. The fixed crooked smile. It was not a warning flag at all.
Man, that man was wreaking havoc.
Yeah. So like I just like the again, the battles felt more at stakes because you knew there were things to lose. Like Tim said, the payoff of like, you're told time and time and time again that the digital world moves faster than the real world, but you don't see it until you come back and it's like, yeah, while y'all were gone, these virus types just took over. Like they all have their empires on each corner of the digital world. Like this is what y'all left. So even seeing things like that, the idea of fighting despair itself with Apocalypse, right, and him like deleting them, it's like that was just like, again, you're 8 years old, 7 years old, and you're just like, man, he did what? His attack is called what? The Big Bang? Man, so they died. I just felt like it was one of those things where, of course, as time goes on, you kind of grow out of it. I think the thing that did Digimon in for me is that they kept trying new things to the point that it didn't make sense to me anymore. Of like I said to y'all before, I'm like, once the kids became like, even season 3 when they started doing the bio merge, I'm like, yeah, I don't know about this. It's Growlmon and his human partner in Gallantmon's body. I'm like, walk out of fine line here.
I just couldn't get it. I just somewhat hated that version of Digimon because it was so. I'm like, bruh. Let me see. I knew what I was drawn to subconsciously, but I didn't know yet because I hated the tone. Like everybody was just downers. Everybody was just like, yeah, so I don't care what it like. I hated Hero because of that from G Gundam.
Really?
I gravitated more towards Duo. Yeah, I liked the Duo and Wu Fei. Those were my favorite. I hated Hero as a kid because I was like, yo, what's wrong with this guy? You're gonna blow up your cool Gundam? What's wrong with you? Versus Duo, who wants to keep his Gundam.
I mean,
I'm like, you trying to blow up?
He was about to get compromised. Remember, they couldn't let it get into enemy hands.
No, but at the same time, in my opinion, I'm not thinking like that. I'm thinking like Neo. I could save both. That's what I was on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna save both. And so I liked the Duo and I liked the Wu Fei because Wu Fei was just blunt, was like, you're pretty good for a girl. And it was just like, yeah, he got a dragon arm that's just grabbing people's. I'm like, nah, you cut a US freight in half. I mean, not a U.S. freight, but it looked like a ship. You know what I'm saying? He just cuts it in half. It's a Gundam. That's the first death sites. I'm like, come on, man. And then Duo was just cool. The voice actor, I was a big fan of that voice actor. I was a huge fan of that voice actor, man. I to this day, I'm like, yo, where is he? But
Wikipedia.
Yeah, man, that was my favorite voice actor, man. At the time. He just had that spark. And so
that's another thing too with Digimon. The voice actors, I've said this a lot of times. I think the English dub obviously they did their American thing that they did in that time of like, we're gonna change these characters completely, tone of voice. But from what I was seeing, it made sense. Like there was never really a voice where I was like, why do they sound like this? Even their Digivolve forms all having a different distinct voice. I'm like, this is how War Greymon sounds. Like it sounds raw, and he sounds fire.
and then for me, it was just like, that third season, I just couldn't get over. It got better towards the second half when all the Digimon just started showing up and you had new characters. That's when it started to expand. But when I was just following these three, I said, yo, this is not it. That's just like when Power Rangers just had 3 Power Rangers. That was it. That was the entire season. I was like, nah, fam. It's not.
I like season 3. I like it. I mean, obviously,
I liked it towards the end. I actually am a fan of part 4.
That's where they lost me. I tried.
Yeah,
I really tried.
I actually like
when
part
they had
4, man.
the two types of spirits where they
Yes.
one was like a beast spirit, the other one was like a humanoid one. Yeah,
But only for a certain, favorite protagonist in that. Not everybody got the best of both worlds with that.
Season 2 Digimon was cool. I just like Ty more than I did Davis.
That's the sentiment of most people. Like, they're too similar for Davis to be interesting on his own. I mean,
Davis was more of a coward to me compared to the English version. He was a coward to me in a way. I found him as a coward. Like,
to be honest, Ken was the highlight for me. Ken, and I also appreciated Kari's growth. Kari and Yoli were actually very interesting characters to me.
Yeah, I think Ken's road to redemption was very interesting. I would agree with you on that. I liked Davis.
Cody stayed on the back burner too much. Cody kind of reminds me of like a Choji. Like he's there, but not really there.
Yeah, and this storyline was interesting, but it's like, it's not, with you already have a cast of proven characters from season 1, and then these older kids in season 2 are more interesting, respectfully, than what you got going on in your little depressed life. And you, out of the 3 new kids, your Digimon is the least interesting design wise. An armadillo, come on, like no.
I mean, no. When he transformed with that was hard. I don't care. That
was Digimon, but But then you stand him next to Flame Dramon, and
they look hard, man. He had the 3 drills. I'm sorry, that was a fire design, man. That was a fire design. But like season 4, I mean, Lobomon, man. I'm like, yo, Lobomon was just too hard.
The designs are cool. I like Agunimon. It's cool.
Agunimon was cool.
Yeah.
Lobomon, and then you had the
beetle. They reneged and became a version of Greymon and Garurumon in the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then became.
Now you realize there's this whole lore.
Powers combined. Susanomon.
Like there's this whole legacy of Greymon and Garurumon out there.
Yeah, they're all lineage now.
To explore, but
yeah. I mean, there's about 5 different Omnimon now, so I mean, you shouldn't be surprised.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah. They know their cash cow. That's the
only part of Digimon I don't like. Like, oh yeah, here's Omnimon Gold, or here's Omnimon Platinum. It's like,
even Digimon Tri. Here's Omnimon with the powers of the other Digimon absorbed. Okay. That's different.
Okay. Super Saiyan 5.
I'm about to say, so Super Saiyan Blue and Digimon World. All right. This is what we're doing, huh? Just repainting the same old design. Cool. But yeah, I think for me, just to answer my last question, like I think Digimon's in a place now where I'll always kind of be a casual observer. Like I think I'll always kind of have a general interest of what the franchise is doing. I don't know if I will ever kind of get into it at the degree that I did when I was younger, only because, like I said, there was just too many changes that have been made where I'm like, I'm not on board with everything that they're doing. I also kind of feel like the way they treat American fans is just not great. Like, yeah, we're going to do this Digivice for season 1 and Digivice for season 2 with all the things that you really would have wanted when you were a kid, but only in Japan. It's never coming to America. It's just like, well, I mean, if you're not going to invite me, like I'm not going to.
Yeah, right. Again, if I ain't invited to the cookout, man, forget it.
Like, I'm not trying to find my way in. Like, okay, this might be the biggest shine Digimon gets on this platform. If that's the case, if I can't participate.